Are you a self-storage owner or operator looking for service providers to help at your facility? Well, the Storage Business Owners Alliance, also known as the SBOA, has you covered. The SBOA is a premier online hub for connecting self-storage owners and operators to industry-leading products and service providers. We provide one-stop shopping for your business with exclusive offers to save time and money. At the SBOA, we believe by coming together, we help owners and operators grow revenue, gain purchasing power, reduce expenses, improve efficiencies, and increase profitability. We also offer many resources such as our conferences and self-storage unlock webinars to help self-storage owners and operators gain the knowledge needed to become more competitive in the industry. To become an SBOA member or to find out more information, please visit www.thesboa.com today. We can't wait for you to join the Alliance.
Good morning, Self-Storage Land, and welcome to the very first episode of Self-Storage Unlocked in 2025. I'm Iris Czygan, president of the Storage Business Owners Alliance, better known as the SBOA, joining you from snowy Michigan here. We are thrilled to kick off the new year with all of you and deliver valuable insights to help your business thrive. And if you haven't done so already, please let us know in the chat who you are and where you're from. We love getting interactive with everybody. Knowing more about our audience helps us bring you better content. Today, we will be joined by Nicole McDaniel from AlphaStaff. She's going to share some practical strategies to help you start 2025 strong. For those of you who are not familiar with AlphaStaff, they provide businesses with tailored human resources solutions. So that includes payroll management, employee benefits, compliance support, and risk management. I will let Nicole fill you in on more of that. But they do work hard to ease the administrative load so business owners like you can focus on growth and operations. Before we jump in today, I want to just give you a couple of quick reminders. One is if you have any questions during our session today, please drop those in the chat. So some of you have already gotten active in there. Please get used to the chat. And when we ever have a little pause, or if we wait until the end, we will try to get to every question that we can. If for some reason we don't get to your question, if you are registered through Eventbrite or you're one of our enhanced members watching from the website, we can get back to you. If you are not, please make sure you drop your information with your question so we can get back to you and answer all of your questions today. And then we will ask a few poll questions throughout the webinar. So your responses, again, help us with learning more about you, and they make our sessions better than ever. And we love your participation. It helps us know that you're out there, you're joining us, and we love interactive audiences more than anything. So I'm ready to get started. I'm going to bring Nicole up from AlphaStaff. Hi, Nicole. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good. Iris, how are you?
Great. It's good to see you. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about you, what you do at AlphaStaff?
Absolutely. So again, my name is Nicole McDaniel. I am an HR account manager with AlphaStaff. So what does that mean? So human resources, and account managers. So we have different clients from nationwide, and I am an HR account manager. So what they refer to us as the quarterback. Our clients take all of our different services from payroll to workers' comp to training. And what we do is we make sure that those services are tailored to our clients, and we provide the best service to them with what they need. So we provide, again, as Iris said, compliance, HR, employee relations, help, policy, review, workers' comp, payroll, unemployment. We do the gamut of what you need to do from a human capital side. So we take the worry out of that, and then we let you focus on your operation and business. And
Awesome.
I've been with AlphaStaff for 2 years, going on 3 years. And just, a little bit about me. I used to be known as a job hopper, but it's the millennial in me. But I have found AlphaStaff as a home, and I absolutely love AlphaStaff as a company, and I love my job. And at this point, I think I'm going to retire here. So that's just a testament to AlphaStaff. I love them so much.
That is fantastic. There is nothing better than finding your work family. And I feel the
Absolutely.
same way. I tell Ian Bernstein, our co-founder, he's going to have to just kick me out because I'm never going anywhere. I
Same.
just love it. All right. Well, without further ado, I will let you get started with your presentation. I'm going to bring it up and let you go ahead. And I will just jump in now and then when we have questions. Okay.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, Iris.
Uh-huh.
So today, the title of today's webinar is Expert Insights with AlphaStaff. That's a big title, an expert. Okay, I'll take it. So we're going to be starting right in 2025. We're going to be talking about compliance, recruiting, and safety in the workplace. So again, we encourage you to put your questions down in the chat if you have any as we go through the information, and I will try to answer all of them. We'll answer questions at the end. But if it's something that is relevant to one of the slides that I am presenting on, I will try to stop and answer that question. I want it to be as interactive as possible, and I want you guys to get something out of this training, and because that's what it's about. So the agenda, what we're going to talk about today are some compliance hot topics that include the stay or pay contract provisions, labor law postings, and employee handbooks. Then we're going to go into recruiting best practices. And then we're going to talk about safety in the workplace, including workers' comp and training. And then we're going to talk a little bit about AlphaStaff as a whole and the services that we provide. So let's jump right on in to our compliance hot topics. So the first thing we have is a poll question. I want you in the chat, or you could be rhetorical. What are some compliance topics that are currently on your radar? And I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. I'm sorry I don't have Jeopardy music as we, hold for a little bit to get an answer to this one. But just really quickly, either jot it down in the chat or just think about it. What are some compliance topics that are currently on your radar? And if I don't talk about those that are on your radar, the answer to your question, make sure that you put them in the chat or save it for the end, and I can certainly address those topics that are on your radar, because again, this presentation is for you guys. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the stay or pay provision. So you may be thinking, what is that? So anything that has a repayment or payment agreement. So a training repayment agreement, educational repayment contracts to say if I do tuition reimbursement, I have to stay for 6 months after the tuition reimbursement is paid out, or a sign-on bonus tied to a mandatory stay period. It's a contract that requires repayment if an employee leaves within a certain time frame. As of October 7th, these provisions are unlawful under the NLRA unless employers can satisfy certain requirements. So, are there any permissible stay or pay provisions? Yes, there are. Those are the agreements that must be voluntary, and repayment must be reasonable and specific. And stay periods must be reasonable. So you can't say someone has to stay there for 3 years after you give them a certain amount of money. or the repayment cannot be required for termination without cause. So if you had a reduction in force or an elimination of a position, you cannot require that employee to repay that amount, even if it was under contract. Are there risks with this, and what should you consider? The NLRB could investigate and impose steep monetary remedies if agreements are not cured within 60 days. Meaning, if an employee has a complaint about a stay or pay contract provision and you do not negotiate or settle it with the employee, the NLRB could step in and assess steep fines. We always recommend that you consult legal counsel when assessing and implementing any pay or stay employment agreements. Oh, I love that. How many warnings do you recommend to give an employee before termination? I love that question, and I will answer that. And at the end, because that for me, I could talk about that for about 30 minutes on its own. So we're going to answer that at the end. Iris, if you can keep that one,
I will.
I want to answer that one. That's a good
Okay,
question.
we'll get to that, Craig. Really quickly, Nicole, and I'm sorry if I missed it. What is the NLRB?
National Labor Review Board, I believe.
Okay, just
National Labor Rights Board, maybe National Labor Rights Board.
Okay, thanks.
The next thing we're going to talk about are the labor law postings. So in each facility, federal law states that you must have labor law postings posted in a conspicuous location for all employees to view. These posters include your state, thank you, National Labor Relations Board, thank you. All of your state and federal posters. So these posters must include your minimum wage for federal and your state minimum wage, as well as any sick leave laws that you have, workers' comp laws, unemployment, how to apply for unemployment. There are various jurisdictions, city, state poster requirements, and we want to make sure that you have these posters posted, because you can get fines from OSHA, FMLA, and the EPPA for not posting these. EPPA is the Employee Polygraph Protection Act. So all these acronyms, we use them every day, and I don't realize that maybe no one else knows what they mean. So how to stay compliant? There are two ways that you can stay compliant. You can hire a third party, or you can sign a contract with a third party vendor. That is what AlphaStaff uses. And what they do is on an annual, anytime there is a change in a poster, they send our clients an updated poster. For example, Florida has, they changed the minimum wage increase every September 30th. Why not January 1st? Well, because it's Florida. That's the only answer I have. So September 30th, they changed minimum wage. So what happens is all of our Florida clients get a new poster that states the new minimum wage amount, either before the change in September or right after, so like the first week in October. So types of posters I talked about: FMLA, minimum wage, OSHA, workers' comp, the paid sick leave, and then the various state posters.
Okay, I have a quick question on this one.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you give posters to remote employees?
So with Poster Guard, they have a remote poster service. So I am a remote employee. So what happens is when there is an update for my state, I get an email stating that there's an updated poster that I need to view. And I have a portal that I can view all of those posters. You can also post these posters if your company has an intranet or an employee intranet. You can post those posters on your intranet, and making sure that your employees have access to those posters.
Okay, so you could post it digitally.
Yes, you can post them digitally. Yes.
Courtney asked also, is there anywhere you can find the changes on the posters from year to year without a third-party vendor?
Yes. So there are several websites that will tell you the latest revision date of state and federal posters. We have a lot of clients who get afraid because they don't get posters every year. So the federal poster hasn't been updated since 2000 and I think I want to say 19 maybe. And so the revision date, there's always a revision date at the bottom of the poster. So it would say 6/19 is the revision date, and that's when you'll know what is the latest poster date.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we're going to go on to employee handbooks. So there is no federal law requiring private employees to provide handbooks to their employees. I know, right? Like everybody has a handbook, but there are a lot of reasons why you should have a handbook. One, it welcomes your new employees. You know, that first page of the handbook usually is a letter from your CEO or president introducing the employee to the organization and explains the expectations, mission, and values of the company. It also ensures the fairness and treatment of for the workplace, including all of your EEOC laws and anti-harassment laws. And then it groups your various employment policies together. So, for example, you have a section on benefits, you'll have a section on leave, you'll have a section on PTO. I know anytime I join a new company, I told you in the beginning of the job hopper, that's the first section I go to is what day I get paid, what does the PTO look like, what are my paid holidays, and the benefits I get. So an employee handbook will put all of that information together in one location for your employees. And then it could also be a way to share your labor law postings. So policies that employers need to comply with. So FMLA and ADA and also state laws. And then when handbooks are signed and acknowledged, it can assist with employers' legal defense against either an EEOC charge or an unemployment claim. When you have an employee that has signed an employee handbook, that means they agree to all of the policies and procedures within that handbook. So when they violate a policy and try to either make a claim with EEOC or with unemployment, you have that documented signature to state that the employee knew that policy and then violated that policy. Just another plug for AlphaStaff, we offer custom employee handbook creation. So not only do we make sure that what's included is all of your compliance-based laws and procedures, we will include any company-specific policies. So if you have something like your employees, some storage companies have apartments that the employees may live in, right? We can include those policies in your handbook to state if employment ends, they have 30 days to move out of the apartment and things like that. So we can create those industry specific policies to include in your handbook as well. But it's always important to have a handbook because it just states all of your policies clearly, and it also protects the employer from preferential treatment claims because you have one governing document that you hold all of your employees to. Okay. So now I have a compliance story. So this is a company gave a stellar recommendation that we present to their industry in a conference of how they've been with us for 14 years and have benefited greatly by having a trusted partner on all levels, making them not have to worry about the things compliance or HR related and can focus on the resources of their core business, which grew threefold during their time with us. And I love this story because, again, we take the worry out of the compliance related in HR because I have clients who call me when they have an HR related issue, they don't want to touch it, right? Call me and say, Nicole, can you please tell me, hey, I have this issue. Tell me how to deal with it. And I'm a trusted partner and I will walk them through it. We talk about policy, we talk about the history of that employee, and I make sure that they have all of the information that they need to make a sound decision. We always leave the decision, the final decisions always lie with the operators, and but we provide the sound guidance to make sure that they are in compliance with all of the laws in their jurisdiction, state or city.
And I can give you a stellar recommendation as well, because SBOA uses AlphaStaff, and you make our life so easy. It is great.
Awesome.
We use you for the handbook. You
Mhm.
guys just handle everything, and
Yes.
it is, as an employee, it's also really easy to navigate, find things like when you need to request PTO and vacation time and all of that. So we appreciate you guys a lot.
Oh, thank you, Iris. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to move into recruiting best practices. So here's another poll question. What is your most successful strategy for finding talent? Cue the Jeopardy music in your head. And then you can either answer this rhetorically or you can drop it down in the chat. I won't sing because I'm tone deaf, but you get the idea as my head's moving. Okay. So best practices in hiring. So first, we're going to start with pre-screening. You want to make sure that you have a standard application for all applicants that meet the EEOC guidelines. So I won't go into all the EEOC guidelines, but there are certain questions you cannot ask on an application. We at AlphaStaff make sure we review your applications and make sure that they are compliant and making sure that you are not asking any questions that will get you in trouble. Pre-screening also includes looking for applications of candidates who have relevant work experience. This is important. So for the storage industry, it is unique in the way that a lot of employees are by themselves for 6, 8 hours at a time. And you want to make sure that they have the relevant work experience to kind of handle that environment, right? And then you want to have a standard set of interview questions for each position you're frequently hiring. So, for example, if you have a location and a manager keeps churning and burning employees, you want to make sure that you're looking at what that interview process is, because maybe the job was not explained correctly during the interview process, or the questions asked did not fit the needs of the location or job title. So you want to make sure that you're reviewing these set of interview questions and that each manager is comfortable enough to ask these questions and evaluate those questions to make sure that they are hiring the perfect fit. Next is pre-employment. I always recommend background check screening and drug screening. So again, you have these employees in the storage industry who are there by themselves in the offices for 6 to 8 hours a day, and you want to make sure their background lines up. They're dealing with cash, they're dealing with customers, so you want to make sure that they have a background check and they pass a background check and also a drug screening before they start their position. And then next is new hire orientation. New hire orientation is extremely important because this is when they're new, they're gung-ho, they're starting their new job, they're all excited. You want to make sure that your program is streamlined to onboard all employees. So what does that look like? You want to make sure your training is set up. So do you have a calendar of training? You communicate that training. Hey, you'll be meeting with district manager Bob on day 1, and you'll be meeting with your regional manager Jane on day 2. Then you'll go into the office, you'll be on the computer for 8 hours for the next 2 days. And you just want to lay out the program to your employees so they know the expectations and you have an expectation of what they're going to be doing their first week to 2 weeks. And then you want to make sure that the training program is tailored for your different positions. Of course, there are different positions for assistant manager, property manager. If you're hiring a regional manager, a trainer, you want to make sure that their training programs fit those different positions. And then this is very important, and a lot of employers don't do it, but we recommend it, that you survey your new hires. Again, they're new, they're gung-ho, they had expectations for what the job was. So you want to survey them and ask them, hey, is everything going good? Was your training great? Did your trainer provide all the information you needed? Do you feel that something is lacking, right? So you want to make sure you follow up with them. And then sometimes you can incentivize them, right? By taking a survey, you can be put into a drawing for a gift gift card, and things like that. But you want to make sure that you're surveying your new hires on their job experience, because we could be thinking we're doing a great job in the hiring and onboarding process, but something is lacking. So you want to just survey the people who are actually experiencing it, to get their feedback and make it better if need be. Do you have questions about, I'll put them here. Oh, that's just the questions. All right. All right. So we're going to move on. And so here's a recruiting story. We had a client that required assistance filling a unique role. They required someone extremely specialized in beauty product packaging and had struggled for months to locate the best candidate. Our recruitment team worked with them to locate someone within a week that fit their specific need. So what does that mean, our recruitment team? We have a recruiting team that is awesome. If you elect our recruiting services, what they will do is they will sit down with the client, ask them what their specific needs are, walk through the job duties, the salary, everything. We will communicate with you and ask you all the questions that we need. And then we'll take that information and we'll do the sourcing. We'll do the initial interviewing. We will do the grunt work, basically, to look for that role and make sure that by the time that candidate gets to you, that basically it's just a final interview and they're ready to go, because we as a recruiting team have done the background work and making sure that that person is a perfect fit, which is how we were able to place someone within a week, because we did all that background work. We experts in the field. Our recruiting team is amazing, and they are able to work speedily and fast in order to gather that information and get you what you need.
That is fantastic. What a time saver.
For sure.
Especially right now. I mean, everybody says it. Good help is hard to find.
For sure. For
you guys
sure.
take all the grunt work out. That's amazing.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so next we're going to talk about safety in the workplace. So we have another poll question. What challenges do you face in staying up to date with workplace safety regulations across your organization?
Okay, and everybody, if you take the time to answer the poll questions, I'm going to say the most comments that we get, we're going to give someone a $20 gift card for Starbucks today.
Woo!
So get those answers out there.
Nice.
And just label your answer Q1, Q2, Q3. Go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good. Okay. So we're going to talk about first the most common injuries and work comp claims in storage. So before I get started, I want to say this came directly from, we have a risk management specialist who he evaluates claims and looks at all of the claims, and we can, especially in different industries, right? So I reached out to him and asked, hey, in the storage industry, can you tell me what you're seeing as the most claims and injuries in the storage industry? So this came directly from him. The first is golf cart safety. So a lot of storage facilities use golf carts, and I know you're like, well, what are we supposed to do? Don't start with that, Nicole. But why is that, why is that a common injury and a claim? Well, they can be risky due to blind spots in the aisles in the storage facilities, and then U-Hauls that are driven by the renters or inexperienced drivers. Those can cause accidents, right? And then maintenance on golf carts. If you have an old, poorly maintained golf cart, they can be dangerous and cause claims and injuries. So we just want to make sure that you are maintaining the golf carts, and or making sure that when in use, they are not maybe colliding with a U-Haul, or in use where there's could be some sort of obstruction in the way of the golf cart. Second is strains and sprains. Now, with strains and sprains, are they preventable? Yes, because we actually provide training on proper lifting. So with strains and sprains, they usually typically come from improper lifting when they're cleaning out units or moving things in and out. So when you have a heavy item to lift, you want to use team lifting, or making sure that you are bending and squatting correctly when lifting heavy items. Power tool safety. So again, in the storage industry, you have to cut off locks sometimes, and we want to make sure that when you cut off those locks, you are using PPE as such as gloves and face shields, or it's better to It's kind of the best solution is to outsource this task. Now I know that's not always possible, so again, if you cannot outsource it, make sure that your employees are using using gloves and face shields when they are cutting off locks. Slips, trips, and falls. So this is a big one. When on the company property, there may be uneven pavement, holes, faulty ladders, and rolling stairs. Those can cause those falls. Regular maintenance is needed to make sure that you are ensuring safety of your employees. And then lastly, rodents and insects. So when cleaning out a unit that's been, closed up for a while, there may be bees nests, wasp nests, snakes, or other pests in there. Make sure that you are, using a professional to remove them if necessary. And then if not, make sure that you are looking and wearing protective gear if you are removing a bee's nest or wasp nest or snakes or anything like that. So I talked about it when I was going through the examples, but again, some training examples, make sure that you are, training on safe lock cutting, PPE, which is personal protective equipment, making sure that the employees are trained on what to wear when they are lock cutting, or, they may need to use a back brace when lifting heavy equipment. And then lifting strategies. So bending at the waist bending at the knees instead of the waist, and bending over, and different things like that. We do offer training. We could either, that's why they call us the quarterback. HRAMs, HR account managers, can actually facilitate these trainings for our clients, and that is included in the AlphaStaff services. Or you can utilize our LMS, our learning management system, and provide videos on these certain training aspects. And then here's a safety story. We had a client that had several near misses with OSHA issues, and our risk specialist, who I mentioned, went on site to conduct a training assessment. This aided in reducing risk, adding necessary safeguards, and ensuring compliance. And I also want to state that this risk specialist, this is a service that we offer to all of our clients, for him to go out on site and do an assessment and training if there are sites that have higher claims than normal, or there's something going on and we just need to figure out what it is that we can do to aid them with their workers' comp claims. And then this is just some additional HR trainings we offer, and I recommend that all employees all companies at least do the annual harassment training. And this, in certain states, it is required. So New York, Ohio, Illinois, and California all have required annual anti-harassment training that needs to be completed for all employees. But we recommend it for all employees nationwide, to be able to comply also with your handbook that talks about anti-harassment policies. We also offer leadership training that includes communication training, management 101. So for your new leaders, maybe that have gone from peer to manager, we offer training to assist them with that transition. And then performance management training. How do you facilitate your annual performance reviews? Do you have a performance management system? Do you have, how do you do corrective action? And that, question about how many warnings do you get before termination is included in that performance management training. And I can talk about that a little bit here. So the question was, what was the question again, Irish? I want to make sure that I get it correct.
There it is. How many warnings do you recommend to give an employee before termination?
Okay, so how many warnings do you recommend to give an employee before termination? I know you're going to hate this answer, but it really depends. So it depends on the infraction. So what I always recommend is step step discipline, and what that means is tier discipline. So if it's something light like a dress code violation or something like that, right? How many warnings do you give? Maybe 1 to 2. But if it's something like theft or, bullying in the workplace, harassment in the workplace, there are no warnings, right? You can go straight to termination. So it all depends on how your corrective action policy is set up and how you maintain that policy. Some infractions can be no warnings. Some infractions can be 2 warnings. Another example is absenteeism and tardies. It's important to have a policy on that as well. So you can point to someone who's had 2 absences and 2 no-shows, or 3 tardies and 2 absences, right? If your policy states if you have 5 infractions, you get a final written warning, and then on the next infraction, you get a termination. That way you're following policy, and it's written out for you. So you take the guessing game out of how many you give, because you have policies in place to kind of guide you with that.
And that's where that employee handbook is so critical,
Absolutely.
right? It
Absolutely.
just protects
Yes.
everybody and, gives everyone clear expectations.
Exactly.
And yeah, if you're going to have certain things like theft, obviously is going to be zero tolerance policy.
Right. Exactly. And I've seen a couple of other questions in the chat.
Yes. So, Courtney, she says, a little bit off topic, but they have a box truck that they use for a free pickup service. Are they required to have an OSHA log in the truck?
So I am not afraid to say I do not have the answer to that one. We have a whole risk management team. They're awesome, but I can take that away and to get you an answer, Courtney. I will be sure to get an answer on that, because I'm not afraid to say I don't know the answer to that one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and that's what's great too about having the whole AlphaStaff team. Obviously, it's a team. So when you don't know, you can find someone who does right there. You've got the experts. Courtney did have another question. She's going for that gift card, you guys. You better jump in. She's gonna get it. She had another question about bloodborne airborne pathogens training. Do you have recommendations on places they can get access to that kind of training?
So I know for sure that training is in our LMS. So with our LMS, our learning management system, we have over 600 trainings in our LMS portal. So I do know that we offer that to our employees, but I'm not sure outside of that where you can get that training. But I can find out if there's somewhere else that that you can get that training. I will take both of those away for you, Courtney.
Great. That's it for the questions right now. Oh, wait.
There's another
Nope,
one.
we have one more from Craig.
You're
He's
welcome,
gonna
Courtney.
be steep competition for Courtney. In some states, let me put it up on the screen, recreational marijuana is legal. Do they have to allow that on a smoke break?
So this is a great question. So most employers follow federal law. So marijuana is still illegal federally. So if you have a policy that states that, you have a drug-free workplace and you follow the federal policy, again, this is where that handbook comes into place. You do not have, unless it is a state that states that you have to require an employee to have a smoke break, and I don't know of any states that have that. You do not have to allow smoke breaks. There are some states, I'll use California as an example, that you must allow the 15-minute unpaid breaks during a workday. But I do not believe that smoke break includes marijuana smoke breaks, because most employers follow the federal law that marijuana is still illegal.
Right. And a good example is, obviously alcohol is legal in every state, but we don't have to allow it to happen on the job.
Exactly. Right. So you have, again, back to that handbook, you have a alcohol and drug-free policy in your handbook, and those are legal. That's a legal binding contract between employee and employer, and you do not have to allow them to use marijuana while on duty, as well as, like Iris said, alcohol while on duty and working. Great questions. Loving this. So next is our Alpha Analytics. So this is something that we rolled out in 2024. Alpha Analytics is a new service that we are offering to our employees. So I did not talk about it before, and I forgot. But so with Alpha Analytics, we offer 24 dashboards at the click of a button for our employees. And it ranges from headcount by department. You can slice it out by department, by total as a company. We can give you workers' comp claims. We can give you turnover, diversity by gender and ethnicity. So this service is just giving our clients a snapshot of their numbers, basically, at a glance. And then why analytics? So we have process refinement. So let's say that, again, when I talked about you have a manager maybe that has high turnover in their region, right? You can pull up analytics and pull up that region to say, what is the reason for termination in this region? And look to see if it's a training issue, if you need to train the employees better, do you need to train that manager better? So you can look at those termination reasons, excuse me. Greater efficiency. You can see where you are. Maybe you have one of the great dashboards I like is the salary gap. So you can see if you have a salary gap between men and women or regionally. Again, we know the cost of living is different in different states, but do you have a big gap, right? So you can have greater efficiency in that area. And then continuous improvement. Looking at data is the best way to provide a story of where you were and where you're going. So it will provide you with a story of, where do you need to improve on and what you're doing great at and what you can build upon. So this is just a dashboard, one of the examples of the dashboard here on the screen. And this one is a dashboard of, the workers' comp claims. It's holistic. So you'll see that it gives you, this is, I believe, unemployment claims. We do have a dashboard of unemployment. So you'll see the protestable claims and non-protestable claims. So this is just another example of the dashboards that we offer to our our clients, excuse me. And now I am going to turn it over to Chad to talk a little bit about AlphaStaff. Iris, do you want to introduce Chad? You're on mute, Iris.
Of course
Mute
I
mom,
am.
gotcha.
Hi, Chad. I thought something was wrong with our sound again. It's just me. How are you doing today, Chad?
Hey, good, Iris. How you doing? I appreciate you having us on today.
Oh, we love having you here. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the business development manager. I'm actually a remote worker here in Jacksonville, Florida. AlphaStaff is corporate office is based out of Sunrise, Florida, which is in South Florida. I've been in the HR outsourcing industry really since 2008. And, I hold multiple insurance licenses as well. And, this is a very complex industry, but super exciting because we get out in front of clients like Nicole was alluding to and provide solutions that's going to help them grow their company. So I appreciate the opportunity to be part of this webinar today.
Great. Well, thank you for being here. I'll let you go ahead with talking more about AlphaStaff.
Yeah, so just if you want to go ahead and move forward here with the next slide. So just a little bit about AlphaStaff. So we've been in business since 1997. Again, we're based out of Sunrise, Florida. We service clients in all 50 states, and we've had the unique opportunity to partner with SBOA for a number of years. Our senior leadership, Christina Bouchard, has a very, very close relationship with Ian, and now we have the unique opportunity to partner with Iris and her team to really be an extension of the culture that she's trying to bring to SBOA and all the members is to be a trusted advisor, to have those resources available to the members. And so, yeah, we're super excited. One of the things that we're super proud of is the fact that our client retention is so high, right? So we pride ourselves on our service. So we're at a 95% client retention rate, and that's really Nicole and the rest of the client services team. So we're super excited to bring those great customer service to our team. If you want to go ahead and move forward, we'll just talk a little bit about some of the key core products that AlphaStaff offers, right? So we mentioned a little bit. So we talked about compliance today in the workplace. We talked about employee handbooks, recruiting, and how important it is to find and recruit the best talent, and then how do we keep those, right? Those employees. And then we talked about safety in the workplace. One of the unique things about AlphaStaff too is alluding to our customer service or service model is Nicole and the rest of the team. So she is actually all things storage, right? And so she, myself and her would have an opportunity to sit down with business owners and put together find out what their goals are for the company, find out maybe some holes that need to be filled as it relates to strategy, and she's gonna really kind of put together a plan to put those goals in place. And so how we kind of execute that is from a human resource standpoint, we're there, or as little as you need us from an HR standpoint. We would, be able to take care of all the payroll and tax administration from a liability standpoint. Risk management, we talked a little bit about that, about risk and compliance and the workers' comp in the workplace. We have a full-blown employee benefit package that we can offer in the event that you wanted to offer your employees benefits. So we talked about retaining those employees, and I know that employee benefit offerings is extremely important. Nicole touched a little bit about Alpha Analytics and having those complementary dashboards to be able to see a total picture of what your business looks like from a reporting standpoint, easy to access. We're there really through the full cycle of the employee life cycle, right? From onboarding to help find those folks. Onboarding, which we hear is the challenge in the storage industry, is onboarding, especially remote employees. We would help with all that stuff, and really through the whole employee life cycle, from hire to retire, if you will. In the event that we need to do any kind of unemployment claims management, we have a team that would help with that. From a technology standpoint, we have a single source sign-on that you'd be able to have access to from a user standpoint to run your payroll. All the employees would have access as well to be able to log in, look at their PTO, their pay stub, that sort of thing. So it's super user friendly, if you will. The unique thing about all these services that I talked about today, it's a mouthful, is that it's very tailor fit. Back to Iris, how she opened up and did a great summary of what we do. We're there to grow with you as little or as much as you need us. We're there as a resource, and all these services. You don't need to have all of them, if you will. But so we would sit down and do a strategic meeting, if you will. Again, I'm the business development manager, and I have the unique opportunity to work with Nicole, with the SBOA team, and we would sit down with the individual owners of the third-party storage management companies and figure out a strategic plan. And then we would come back, obviously with pricing and put a solution in place so that you guys could feel comfortable as we move forward. Ideally, that's a lot to process. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We're here again as a resource and want to make you feel comfortable as you guys are focused on growing your business, but also protecting your greatest asset, and that's your employees, right? So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chad. And I will say that
I was going to add something, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. People who get into self-storage, generally speaking, do it because they want that turnkey, opportunity. So less hands-on, more fun in your life. And, the members we have that use AlphaStaff love it because, first of all, you have a great team. You're very responsive, but it just makes their life easier. It's less that they have to do.
No, that's a great point, Iris. So what we like to say is that we take care of all the back office non-revenue producing items so that you guys can focus on, as business owners, focus on all the revenue producing items like growing your business and that sort. So we're there as little as much as you need us.
Right. And you know, in this industry, people are always looking for anything that is automated, and you guys are automated, but you're not, it's still personal, which is what, you know, we love about you. We did get another question. Oh, if you want to just pop your phone number to call in the into the chat. Craig asked about that in case people have any follow-up questions or any different options that you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also want to let people know that AlphaStaff is one of our preferred vendors. So they do offer preferred pricing if you're a member. So if you're not a member, please be sure to sign up today. It is free. Just go to thesboa.com/membership. And if you are a member, go in and reach out. If we have a phone number that we'll put in the chat for you. We have inquiry form. If you go to our website, you can fill that out and someone will get back to you from AlphaStaff as well.
Absolutely.
So
I just wanted to add.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Chad, I was going to add. So this screen here, out of everything, so we do have a couple of add-on services and things like that, so like benefits and recruiting, but outs and in risk management. But other than that, the core of AlphaStaff, I just had a client ask me, so what do I get with you? You pretty much get all of your HR stuff with me. It pretty much stops and starts with me, right? I can provide your employee relations and your for human resources. I can go on site to do training, or I can, you know, facilitate training on Teams. We also do the analytics. We also do, we have an unemployment claims team, right? So even if you need to go to a hearing, our unemployment claims team goes to that hearing with you. We
Wow.
represent you at those unemployment claims, and we make sure that this information that you're submitting to the unemployment state, that information is correct, and we file those claims for you. We answer those claims for you, excuse me. Technology, we make sure that your portals are set up as much customization as you want, as far as the limits you can go. We can make sure you have the different tiles on your portal, and we can provide training to your employees on those portals. So like Chad said, you can use this as little as or as much as you want to. I have about 35 clients, and they do run the gamut. Some of them I only hear when they need me, and then some I talk to on almost a daily basis because they need something, and I don't mind. I love getting into the nitty-gritty and talking about policy and creation and trainings and what we can do to improve the operations. So that's what I love to do, and all of our client services team does the same thing. We all love to get in there. And so you would be assigned a human resources account manager, and we get in there with you. Like Chad said, we take the burden off of you. My current clients, they can call me at any time that they need something, or set up a call or email, and I'm there to answer the questions and think through it with them. So I just wanted to give that shout out to AlphaStaff too, because when I joined this, I was like, what is this? But I absolutely love it. And the partners that we do have and the clients that I do have, I love each and every one of them. I do.
That is awesome. Well, I will say we have, if there's no more questions, we had a stiff competition between Courtney and Craig, but Courtney, you get the $20 Starbucks gift card today. So I'm going to put my email in the chat. Please send me your email and I'll make sure we get that to you this afternoon. Go enjoy some coffee on us.
Awesome. That's so nice.
And Nicole and Chad, thank you so much for being here today. This was a great presentation, full of great information. Also want to let everyone know that if you did register through Eventbrite, or if you are a member, you'll be able to get this presentation. So make sure, again, if you're not a member already, go sign up. Or if you signed up through, Craig says, Craig says, that's okay. My wife says I have too much caffeine anyway. She's holding you back, Craig.
That's so funny.
Okay, so I'm going to take you off screen. And once again, thank you both for being here. And I'm sure we will see you again soon. Oh, you can see it's snowing now.
So beautiful.
One of these days it's going to stop. All right. Thank you again. Have a great day, you two.
Thank
you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Nicole. Okay. And I just want to follow up with everybody. I hope you did enjoy our session today. If you have further questions, you have our information in the chat now, so you can reach out. And, you have the phone number, but there's lots of resources. There's so much more information that AlphaStaff can give you than what they could put into this presentation in less than an hour. And I also want to let you know we will be back in 2 weeks, Thursday, January 30th, for another episode of Self-Storage Unlocked. That one will be leveraging market insights to boost your revenue in 2025. So the team from StoreTrack will be here, and they will be talking about those great market insights that they have. Once again, we're talking about automation, things that make your job easier so you have more free time to enjoy. And we'll put that link in the chat for you as well. If you haven't followed the SBOA on social media, please do so, and you'll get all of our updates. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And if you have any suggestions for us on topics that you would like to see covered, or, another episode of Self-Storage Unlocked, anything you've missed, any topic you're interested in, please email those to info@thesboa, or you can send it to me directly, iris@thesboa.com. And I hope you all have a great rest of your afternoon. I hope you're somewhere warm where it is not snowing. And we look forward to seeing all of you in 2 more weeks. Bye-bye.
As a business owner, you know how essential clear, actionable insights are for improving customer-facing operations. And yet, feedback is often too broad, shallow, or incomplete. With our AI-powered mystery shopping, transform your audit process from reactive to proactive with real-time, in-depth data that goes beyond surface feedback. Our tailored system identifies your customer experience trends, which resolves issues before they impact business and refines customer engagement strategies, all within just minutes. Simply set your key performance indicators, then let our AI do the rest. Whether you're looking at improving your customer service, sales, or employee performance, you'll get feedback that is not only thorough, but personalized to each of your customers' experiences. Our buildable and customizable packages provide evaluations from foundational to growth-focused insights as your needs grow. Here's how it works. We'll use the high-quality video and audio captured during mystery shops we complete, like this one.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. Coming to take a peek at the models?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking to buy a house, build a house, whatever.
Excellent.
I want a house.
You want a house? We build them, so you're in the right place.
Okay. What you got, right? Les.
Steve. Nice to meet you.
Steve.
Les. So, first on the model I take it, Les.
Yeah, right.
How'd you learn about us?
Saw the signs, one of the many here.
Sure, yeah.
Our detail-focused AI will analyze the recording, combing through the interactions for markers based on your specified standards.
You started with a friendly greeting. That's a good start. To enhance this, try weaving in more personal engagement. For example, when the customer mentioned seeing signs and passing through, you could have shared a light, related anecdote or inquired about their experience with other builders, deepening your connection.
Along with the AI-generated video, anyone who needs it will receive a tailored written summary, a score sheet, and an action plan, breaking down the entire interaction to help drive improvement, understanding, and consistency. Elevate your business insights with SBOA's AI-powered mystery shopping. Schedule a demo today and go from in the dark to in the know.